All right. Well, maybe that's interesting to me. Trying all these new fancy settings to try to make everything more copacetic and build for your life of joy. Um, da, 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 da. The Jerry Springer Experience. I've been watching this guy, Alien Underhill, on YouTube. He's this Slab City character who will take dabs on camera many times, but now he's down on the pipe status. He's lost some of his cred in the financial sphere, but he's got all these plants. It's one of the coolest things about his videos is he's gonna cruise his desert, barren wasteland with broken cars and garbage and odd installations, and all these little ganja plants hiding in the midst. So it's fun. You watch his videos, it's an adventure, it's not boring. We all watch videos on YouTube. We all subscribe to the ones that give us the juice that we want. I like how Elon Musk put it. They have a limbic resonance, so your parasympathetic nervous system gives you the dopamine or the serotonin or the exhilaration, the rush, makes you feel good and inspired. Like the whole thing where people like me watch inspiration videos, but don't really do anything about it and just like cruise. Like, oh yeah, I watched my Buddhist Zen good video, but I didn't do anything with that. Like Justin Bieber got famous for being like a street performer. I mean, so what I really wanted to talk about today had to do with the power of making money through. I should talk about my whole investment stack, which is probably really interesting to you. But if I could give you the quickest synopsis, you, like a farmer, planted a bunch of varieties of stocks. You have maybe a macro perspective, such as e-commerce and software as a service SaaS stocks are going to do well in this post-coronavirus universe that we're living in, where we are transforming more in a more accelerated fashion to internet trends. Um, So I like that idea. But okay, so you're a farmer, you buy a little bit, kind of drip feeding, buying in, and you use a hedge fund tactic, which is very valuable to pump the brakes by buying the IWO, the IWO, which is the Russell, which is an index of like um, growing companies, fast growing companies that are smaller. They're not the Fortune 500. They're not the S&P big companies. So they're more representative of that investing style for me, which is great, and I really like it. And if I can get a quarter of a percent a day, that's great. Sometimes you're gonna have a plus 1% or plus 2% a day, but you'll have to pump the brakes too, and ideally be able to hold over a long period of time, a year, so you can sell the long-term capital gains. But the big money, and I believe you should acknowledge this, is in owning. You have to own. You want to sit on these companies that will continue to do well for you year after year and be prudent this way as a farmer. If you sell a crop or you get a crop of stocks, like, you're as a farmer, and this particular thing you planted, this stock was great. Well, maybe you should plant it again and sell it next year, or like as a farmer mentality would be with beets or carrots, as akin to stocks. And I expect in this way to double my capital, unlike any other investing strategy. And this is the only way to do it, some people believe. Um, Reliably, for me, I completely would agree with that. Reliably. I mean, there's many ways to do it, but not as reliable. The being able to pump the brake by buying an ETF or an index fund or some hedging strategy, like I said, mine is to short the Russell when as it's the trend is no longer up. The dips are not being bought. Um, Maybe a moving average signal is telling me as a lagging indicator um, that the trend is now down. Okay, so there's the short synopsis for trading. I mean, I could sit here for the next 19 years sharing topics from Peter Lynch and this book, which was recommended to me, which isn't another part, obviously, blah, blah, blah. Like every other YouTube video, they're going to recommend some regimen, blah, blah, blah. I'll try to give you my spiel. Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits, Philip A. Fisher. This guy's great. My favorite is Walking, Working, and Worrying. So he's this investor, old school investor guy, and Warren Buffett's all like, yo, he's a big dog. Listen to Philip. I met this guy, and you probably can't read that, but it says, this is Warren Buffett. I sought out Phil Fisher after reading his Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits, this book. When I met him, I was impressed by the man as by his ideas. A thorough understanding of the business obtained by using Phil's techniques enables one to make intelligent investment commitments. So, one of the techniques is scuttlebutt. And scuttlebutt, made up word, I think, uh, which just means you're going to do your due diligence. And that's the modern parlance of scuttlebutt, and he has a method in here for that. It's a worthy read just for the inspiration, which I'm sure many other investors have, inspiration. A winning strategy, though, is very, very sought after. But don't do options like Wall Street bets. Sow seeds, a little bit at a time. Don't blow your capital. Start small. Try things out, and if the stock doesn't work, and so that your variety of stocks will, on net, slowly return a positive average. So you're not overly dependent on any one of your bets. And it's just diversification. I'll go into all this more, but what I wanted to talk about, 7 minutes 14 seconds. Read Elon Musk tweet. No, sorry, tangent. Must be high. You have a house. You pay rent, $900 a month rent to survive, and maybe you pay 500. But between that range, one rich tactic or smart person or Kiyosaki tactic would be to think of it in years. Um, so if you make 3,000 a month, you spend $500 in rent. What's that? A sixth, I think. Uh, so, in a year, 3,000 will give you 36,000. So maybe you're making 40, but after taxes you get 36. Um, and of that, you will pay the 500 a month, coming out to 6,000. So that'll chop out 6,000 out of your 3,000%, or 36,000, 6,000 is not gone. So you're spending a chunk of that year, the month, boom, taxes, right? So you have to get out of this income approach, income tax, heinous crime against your finances. Second, and fatal blow being housing costs. You know, it's really an impossible task for some people to ever get out of it for various reasons, from it's not comfortable to go off grid, survivalist, to they don't know how, and there's a lot of things you're going to have to learn and figure out, to, it's not safe in my area because there's criminals, or there's real drug dealers, or there's stuff out there that's going to make you sick, etc., or there's no resources. And it's a whole thing, and it's not for everybody. But the reality is, as a spectrum of individuals, you know, we look at, oh, most people are able to be in a functional state enough to pay the rent, to pay the tax, to go to work, to make it all work, to not be overly worried that they are not able to save the majority of most of their hours are going towards things they don't even really want, right? And this is the in the details. The devil is in this detail, because it's so disturbing to discover that fact for yourself. 90% or 40% or whatever it is for you is just going towards something I have to be subservient: my rent, my car, my house, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my indulgences, my vices, my video subscriptions, my investment that are wild and speculative and not sensical and not thought out and are not built on foundational tools, built on a strategy that works, that works, that is reliable, that is, well, forget all that. A strategy that will preserve your capital, period.